let's... Oh, we have draft phase to go over first.
Oh yeah, we gotta do pick
Almost
fans.
forgot. Almost forgot.
We almost both goofed there.
It's a good thing OBS saved me by alerting me that I had these drafts up here, where we can check out Team Snowflake on the left side, first ban, first pick, against Team ESV Wildfire on that second side, second ban, second pick. And we're going to see this start off with Zeratul as the first ban, followed by an Arthas ban, and then a Tychus pick, and then Falstad Tassadar for that second round for Wildfire. So bans, actually seeing Zeratul first ban here is a little bit interesting.
It's starting to become more of a norm, I feel. Zeratul is really good at just disrupting anything that your team is trying to do. It doesn't matter what specific comp you're running for. Zeratul, like, people have gotten so good with Void Prism, and actually people are getting really good at doing damage on him now as well, going the Wormhole build. So, I mean, I'm not too shocked to see it anymore. Like, last week I was shocked when I saw it, but after seeing people play with it for a week and a half now, it doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, Void Prison, like, really just breaks the flow of the game, honestly.
Absolutely.
It's really, really difficult to play around. Anyway, let's check out the whole roster. Team Snowflake getting that. Tychus, Tyrael, Brightwing, Raynor, Barbarian. That seems like a really strong roster. Team Wildfire are going to have some work coming up for them. They have Falstad, Tassadar, Uther, Vala, and Diablo. So overall, I really like both of these teams' compositions, actually. What do you think about this here, Zoya?
You know, the next few weeks are going to be really interesting to watch. Overall, all of the supports got kind of hit hard. Well, not hard, but they got nerfed.
Yes.
So double support lineups are going to be interesting to see now, as we do see the Tassadar Uther. The Tassadar's always been more of a damage than a support. Yeah. But it's going to be interesting to keep track of the meta, because I think it was every support got hit with something, right?
Except Lily, I believe.
Except Lily.
I think so maybe Lily is the new thing. We'll have to see if any of the teams pick up on that.
Yeah, we'll have to.
I don't think so.
Yeah, she'll need a few more. She'll need like 300 more buffs before.
Yeah, you know, that'd probably put her right about where she needs to be. Anyway, guys, that's enough of this draft. Let's get the game started. Boom, here we are, 5 seconds in game, normal speed, checking out that blue side left team. Zoya, you good to go?
Good to go.
Awesome, guys. Ready to get it started in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Work Raymon on that Demon Hunter, Bims on Falstad, Iacona, Uther, Pickles on that Tassadar, and the Master Skin Diablo. Boom.
And then for Team Snowflake, we have Idra on Raynor, LZ Gamer on Tyrael, Faye on Tychus, Liquid Chef playing Brightwing, and rounding out the team we have Keelax on Barbarian.
And look at all those Master Skins on Team Snowflake. We got Master Skin Raynor, Master Skin Tyrael, Master Skin Barb. I think those look good. I mean, that Master Skin Tyrael, that looks crisp, if I have to say so myself.
More than likely, Faye has the Master Skin Tychus, but it just looks so bad that no one wants to use it, so...
I heard someone's
shots
feelings.
fired.
Shots fired. Some artist just cried himself to sleep. He's just face palming so hard now. Anyway, we see a 5-man head to the top lane by this Wildfire team, whereas Snowflake is just kind of splitting up Tyrael bottom. I think they're going to try and hard shove this mid lane first, and as that seems to be like the most common strategy right now.
You gotta do a certain amount of damage to the wall, that way the first pirate ship will destroy it.
Yeah.
And we do see that Bims does end up flying down.
Yeah.
Tychus versus, or not, excuse me, Tyrael versus Falstad, though. Tyrael's just so hard to lane against. As any hero in the game, Tyrael is just such a bully.
Yeah, he did get nerfed a tiny bit in this patch, though, so he does slightly less damage on that early game smite. Now, this is interesting. So, Team Wildfire, by pushing top first and then rotating to mid, they gave up a wave of experience in the mid lane in exchange for securing the topside chest. Do you think that's worthwhile? Is that a good strategy you think that's going to last, or...?
It's a hard call to make. I think that it just depends on if they can control the mid now. They really have to capitalize off that first turn-in if you're going to sacrifice that, or just not getting early kills.
Yeah, they didn't get the bottom chest, so they don't even have 10 coins. They're going to have to figure out some way to get that, because Team Snowflake secured the bottom chest with that Brightwing phase shift. Yeah. And now we see the teams just spread out for XP, not seeing any real hyper-aggression here. Barbarian grabbing small camps, she's very good at that, even this early. Even with the Whirlwind changes, she's not going to lose any health taking those small camps.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the biggest things teams are stepping up their game lately with is on this map specifically, taking control of the pirate camps as early as possible. Those 2 extra coins. What's the respawn timer on them again? It's something.
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's very short, and there's plenty of coins to be had, and every team is stepping up their game, capitalizing on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just very conservative play on the bottom lane. A little bit of a skirmish here in the mid. Let's see, Sheth does manage to get away. Idra with a nice knockback on the Diablo, so he can body block that right wing anymore.
Yeah, you know, Raynor overall I feel is pretty underrated. Once he hit level 16, he can do disgusting amounts of damage. And but pre-16 though, even pre-13, like even when you hit 13, his damage still isn't as good as a Falsetto or Diablo. So as long as these guys play for the late game.
No, I think Raynor is a little bit underwhelming in the ultimate department. You have to take those Banshees right now, and they, don't get me wrong, they do copious single target damage, but it's not that really high impact strafe or shock and awe that you see from Falstad or Follow, which makes them feel so much more rewarding in those team fights. Whereas Raynor's got a lot more consistent output. He doesn't have that high front loaded spike.
The cool thing to point out here is top lane, we have Iocona and Bims. They're zoning Faye really hard, making sure that they're missing a lot of top lane experience, which is something that's, it's always been kind of happening in Heroes, but hasn't been, you know, a main focus of any team just yet.
So yeah, this is the whole point, like he was saying, of that Iocona Bims both being top lane, is they can keep Faye so far from her creep line that they can't get XP from this top lane, which is going to set them behind in levels as the game progresses, if they're successful with that zoning. Downside is it costs 2 people near this top side, whereas that means Snowflake is free to have Barbarian roaming around the map. She's doing Knights right now solo, no fear, because she knows that Falstad and Uther are top side.
Yeah, there's a trade-off for everything, and Snowflake's capitalizing well on it. This bottom tower, or the bottom wall, is taking a good amount of damage. The Ogres are being cleaned up by Pickles right now, but like you said, here come the Knights, and, you know, it's a good job from Snowflake by reacting to that.
Yeah, even though this is Tastar down here, they're doing a really good job getting damage on this bottom fort. That's going to be pretty easy pickings once that front wall area goes down. And here's the second chest spawn. Let's see how they contest this. Looks like all the action is going to be topside chest first.
Here we go, Felix trying to get the chest down as low as possible. It's currently a 3v4. Here comes Faye from the top, and then we do see Wildfire does secure the chest, you know, with Faye not coming down right away. And again, it comes down to that Raynor. It's really hard to engage with a Raynor this early, especially in that 4v4 of the specific heroes. It just doesn't have enough damage output right now.
Definitely didn't help that the front line of Wildfire was really scary. That Diablo Uther, you don't really want to get near that, so you know, you get stunned, flipped, knocked back, and all of a sudden it's really easy to focus fire someone down. So it makes sense that Snowflake's willing to give that up. They did end up getting the whole bottom chest. Tassadar didn't even contest that against Tyrael, so they're going to be A-okay as far as overall number of coins here goes, especially because Keelex has done such a good job of getting all these small camps.
Yeah, Keelex is roaming very well right now. They're turning in another 5 coins. This will be a turn-in for Team Snowflake. Pirate shit. First one of the game going to them. Levels are 9 to 8 right now. Snowflake with that lead. LZ Gamer is doing a fantastic job bottom. He's got 8 coins right now. He's already broken down the outer wall for the fort down here. This is going to be an easy push late game. Or whenever Snowflake wants to rally.
What I'd like to see here is LZ Gamer to rotate up to the mid lane, because this bombardment is not going to kill that mid fort, but Snowflake should get level 10 before Team Wildfire, and I want to see them capitalize on that damaged fort. That's what I'd like to see, because Wildfire is going to be at a disadvantage here when Snowflake hits 10, especially with that bonus night camp XP. Look, Snowflake just hit level 10, now is their opportunity to make a play. Let's see if they can do anything while they're ahead of Team Wildfire.
Faye and Idra here in the middle. We do see Keelex going in for a turn in mid, it looks like, or I'm just making sure no one else is turning in. And it doesn't look like they're going to be wanting to capitalize on the fact that they're 10. You know, if they were to force a fight, it would probably be under this mid fort, as Wildfire is playing very safe right now, taking their own Knights, as top Knights from Snowflake are pushing in. You know, really couldn't do much there.
Yeah, so really conservative play there to just get a turn in. Super low risk. It's fine to just toss your coins in. When you have that many coins, losing a team fight is much worse than if you don't have coins. So it kind of makes sense you're going to take the conservative path there. Just a little underwhelming to see that 10 versus 9 not taken advantage of. That fort didn't need those 2 cannonball shots, but still going to give them a solid XP lead with that first fort down, going to Team Snowflake 11 to 10.
Yeah, unfortunately the top wall wasn't enough to where, well, I guess it wouldn't have mattered anyway. But they didn't do enough damage top lane to secure the second fort as well.
Yeah, not even close.
It does, you know, it's just a little extra damage. Now it's exposed enough to where if they get the Grave Golem or their Knights again top lane, they can push and take it quite easily.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see both teams now posturing in the mid lane. The only one not there are Brightwing and Falstad, who both have globals. Brightwing and Falstad both joining now. So this looks like Team Wildfire wants to get this turn in. They're willing to fight a 5v5 for it. Initiation onto Faye gets flipped in there by Diablo. Huge shotgun coming down on 3 targets. Down Faye instantly. No Odin. Go out. LZ Gamer getting low in the center of that team fight. Archon damage is huge. Team Wildfire coming out way ahead on this. Keelax overextended now. Liquid Death tries to save him with a blink heal. Doesn't manage to get him, and now they're on the run. Poom looking for that pick with the overpower. No can do. And that's a 1-team fight and a turn in for Team Wildfire.
Yeah, you know, just a good pick from Poom's grabbing Faye, securing the kill on her. You know, we saw that with the slows and the Apocalypse, Idra had a hard time engaging and assisting his team. You know, Raynor is very slow. He's just mainly a cannon for his team. And it was really well executed by Wildfire.
Yeah, I mean, the pick on Faye was huge there. Absolutely devastating for Team Snowflake. The Odin not going down means that your damage is just so much lower, and your survivability under DPS. So, good call there by Team Wildfire. Gets that turn in and their first fort of the game, I think.
Yeah, this should be the fort.
No, they didn't do enough damage quite to that mid lane, so they're not going to get the fort. But they are even in levels from all that XP they got in the team fight.
We'll have to see who hits 13 first. You know, Snowflake has been doing a great job overall of making sure they have that experience in taking forts early on. So they should be relatively close, you know, despite the 3 kills. Both teams should be almost on equal footing.
Yeah, definitely. Now, we see Team Snowflake posturing around the mid lane. They were concerned that Wildfire was going to get a turn, and you can see that Team Wildfire has a ton of coins on them. But they snuck up to this top lane. Looks like they're going to try and get a pick on Shet. Oh, he's kind of out of position. Can he make it? He has a blink heal up. He can go to those creeps if he gets unstunned. Oh, he blink heals out and he shields himself. Is it going to be enough? Wargreymon coming in. Oh, drops the Vala ultimate to kill Liquid Chef.
Yeah, Reign of Vengeance, it's starting to make a comeback now. It's kind of cool to see. I wonder why they specifically took Reign against this combo. Do you have any insight on that? Because
you know, I can't really think why they would pick that here, except when you're against Tyrael, he's going to be looking to pick your Vala every time with the Judgment anyway, so it's really hard to get a strafe channel. I could see taking Reign of Vengeance as just like, I can fire this and forget, rather than like having to hope that Tyrael doesn't ult me when I strafe. Although Team Snowflake gets an excellent trade there, taking that fort on the bottom side in trade, and then they're going to be able to back up and defend against this top side Grave Golem.
Yeah, that was really well done by Snowflake, realizing what was going on.
Yeah.
And levels, again, still even. Kills 4-0 right now. It just shows you how even when they're taking losses, Snowflake is able to like, okay, we just lost this, let's take this instead because we have that opportunity. It's really good global presence from their team.
Yeah, that was a fantastic trade for them. They lost a player and ended up going 100% even on map objectives out of it, even managing to steal their opponent's ogres. So really good play by them there. Now, Team Wildfire, they probably feel like they're ahead in the game because they feel like they've been really successful, but the teams are basically dead even here. In fact, they are 100% even on forts, except Wildfire is down 1, but mid and so low for Snowflake. So it's going to be interesting to see how this folds out in the late game when those bases start to be really weak.
Well, we might have a fight here. Storm does go down a lot of them. Points out of there. Poom has so many coins on him. Snowflake's probably itching to fight here. Will we see the engagement? It's just a hard team to engage on, you know, that you have the Uther ultimate, you have the Apocalypse, you have Pickles with Archon. You really want to force them to engage onto you, which is going to be hard because they're running the Eraser.
Absolutely. And here we see the engage happen. Helix goes in on Wargreymon, but he instantly gets cleansed out of the stun. And here's the APOC coming down, going to get a huge 4-man APOC stun onto both the divers and Tychus in the backline. That's no damage coming out for Team Snowflake. And this means that Team Wildfire is going to be able to clean them up if they want. Boom, getting low to that Odin damage, but it's not going to be enough. They're still 5 strong against the 3 from Snowflake.
Yeah, I mean, it is Raynor Tychus, but it's not going to be enough to hold this. Poom is just a beast right now, unkillable. He's got 6,600 HP right now. That's so absurd.
Yeah, absolutely. And there we saw the power of that Apocalypse against Raynor. Even though Raynor wasn't crowd controlled at all, he still couldn't get out of the Apocalypse just because sometimes the way the timing works with your auto attack, like unless you move instantly, you just can't get out. So that's one of the reasons Raynor is so weak against that Apocalypse, hard to get out of that AOECC. And we see Team Wildfire taking Teamfight and Teamfight over again. They're now level 16 to 15. they just want to close out the game with team fights, I think. They want to avoid letting Team Snowflake get that split push with the Rainer damage aura, and they want to force 5-on-5 team fights with the big ults.
Rainer did end up taking Art of War. You know, you can skip it sometimes depending on your comp. If you have an Arthas with a Rainer, you can skip Art of War just because you have the constant slows. But not able to do that this game. He does have that aura. And we'll have to see. I mean, they're doing such a good job of controlling coins as well that they don't even really have to force team fights. As long as they keep doing for the turn-ins, I mean, they can just win that way as well. Because here they go, turning in another big batch of coins. And
yeah, and Team Snowflake's not going to be there in time to contest this. They don't want to fight 15 to 16, so they're hesitant to check, but that's going to cost another turn in here. And we can see now that Team Wildfire has kind of taken a decisive lead, they've gotten to that point in Blackheart's Bay where it can be really hard for the defending team to come back, because Team Wildfire has map control, and they can just kind of go grab all the points they want and then turn in, and Snowflake has very few opportunities to counterattack, although here they are in the top lane looking for this fort to get 16 before Wildfire can respond. And
they're going to have to do that quick. They need to hit 16 off this. They should hit 16 as soon as it falls, and yep, there's that level 16. So now they are even on talent. Here's Wildfire. I mean, it looks like they're just going to back off now and go for coins. It's such a hard fight for Snowflake because they had such a dive-heavy comp with the Barbarian Tyrael, but you have the Rainer, who can't really super engage. He has no mobility increase. You know, he just kind of waddles up, and then with that Rain of Vengeance Apocalypse, where the Rain of Vengeance is pinning down their team and then forcing the Apocalypse to follow up and hit them more. I mean, this is just such a brutal lineup for Snowflake to have to deal with.
Yeah, Snowflake definitely feels like they got the worst end of the stick on the team fighting front here, because the way the compositions broke down, as you said, Uber Diablo very good against that dive heavy composition, and we see Wildfire pulling back, taking their own ogres after Snowflake gets to turn in their few coins. Not enough for a bombardment. They just don't want to be carrying those coins when it gets to the team fight, because dropping them is much worse than having them turned in.
Another turn in right now will take an inner fort, and they have to avoid that at all costs. Right now, coins, there are 0 turned in for Wildfire, 8 turned in for Snowflake. Kills right now 6-0 in favor of Wildfire as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Wildfire in a good position here. Their teamfight ults are up. They're willing to fight this if they can get the engage they're looking for. And Snowflake trying to position here. Looks like the net camps are going to leash, so that's not going to go down immediately. Now the chests are going to be the area of contention.
And here Wildfire's just going to go straight for a turn-in, actually, and force Snowflake to respond.
Yeah, so they have exactly enough coins to turn in. This means the Snowflake has to respawn. They trying to come in for a grenade, but doesn't get close enough.
Oh, they're just going to get it.
And they do get the turn in, so that means Team Wildfire going to get the first keep of the game taken down in that mid lane with a bombardment. That's going to get them level 18 and start spawning catapults in that mid lane, put some pressure onto Team Snowflake.
For those of you who are new to Heroes, when you take the inner keep, you get catapults in that lane spawning for your team, and they're basically the super minions or the fiery minions from other MOBAs. They have the extreme ability to push. It just forces and the thing about keeps in this game is they don't respawn. The entire game there's going to be catapults pushing mid lane against Snowflake, and that's something they're going to have to deal with constantly.
Absolutely. So Snowflake took the same trade as they did last time. At least they tried to here, where they take Knights in exchange for the Good Golem. But instead of committing to that push on the bottom side, they've now rotated up. They've left the Brightwing down at the bottom side, but they're not going to be able to get up to top side to contest that Great Golem fast enough, so they would have been much better off just pushing this bottom lane with those Knights.
Yeah, I agree. But here, as soon as they realized that, they just back off. You know, they didn't have time to do it.
Yeah, they wanted to engage on that enemy team while they were stuck in the Great Golem pit, you know, so he can help them out by stomping and rooting the enemy team, but now that they've capped him already, they can't fight on top of it if the team is there, because they know that it's going to help them out.
Yeah, and stuns are brutal.
Yeah, absolutely. Stuns are so powerful. And here is the bombardment. Snowflake managed to sneak a turn in here. It looks like Kelex and Liquid Cheth got that in there, and that's going to damage that mid keep, but it won't be enough to take it down, meaning Snowflake is still going to be at a tempo disadvantage with those catapults constantly pushing that mid lane for Team Wildfire.
Yes, they just really want to take that. It just does. It's so much push, you know, especially when it gets to 2, 3. Like right now, there's about to be 3 catapults in this lane. When you see that Snowflake is going to clean up, but when that's pushing your fort or your palace, whatever it's called, I don't know why I'm zoning on me. It can do a decent amount of damage. You know, the catapults are a real threat.
Yeah, they are a real threat, and here we see another turn in, which is also a threat from Team Wildfire. They managed to sneak War Greymon's 1 coin in, but nobody else finishes their channel. Snowflake forces him off. It looks like Wildfire being a little cautious at this phase of the game because they know they're level 19 and Team Snowflake is 17. So Team Snowflake could, in theory, win a fight here if it's good positioning for them. But what they want to do is they want to secure that level 20 advantage to make sure that they can't lose a fight to Team Snowflake when they engage.
It's a scary thing because now they're going to be 20 soon, and the next turn in it's going to be a second keep. They really can't afford that to happen. LZ Gamer's down here trying to delay, but he really can't. I don't think they have enough for a turn in. Yeah, it's going to be too short. Unfortunately.
Still, turning in all those coins secures so much because that means that even if they lose a team fight, they don't fall that far behind because they didn't lose any coins. Yeah. And now Snowflake is the one with coins on the line. They have 9 coins here, and if Team Wildfire fights them and manages to win that team fight, it's going to put the nail in the coffin. But they're not going to interrupt this turn in. They're like, all right, you guys can have your 9 coins, toss them to the guy. It's not enough for bombardment. We're going to let you have that. And then still, they're just waiting for that level 20 tick over. They have to be so close to their experience.
Yeah, it's definitely going to... They're sitting on the edge of it right now, but there's no one in lane right now, which is going to be a little bit of a problem for them hitting that 20. As long as Snowflake keeps rotating around, clearing up minions, we're going to be seeing another 2 coins be turned in. That's going to be 1 short from a complete turn in for Wildfire. They need 1 more coin. Pirate Camp's 30 seconds on the bottom left one, but we actually see a fight here.
Yeah, Bloom's going in on Keylax. Keylax is isolated, is going to end up going down to that Blood for Blood and Rain of Vengeance by Vala. And here we see them trying to fight into the Odin. It's already deployed. Diablo gets low, has to back out, and now Odin and Rainer are free to DPS the backline. Vims, Pickles, and Wargreymon have to back out against this overwhelming Odin force. And it looks like Pickles gonna get caught on that Task Star. Ends up going down through the Void Shift, but LZ Gamer overextended for that Judgment. He's gonna go down as well. Boom, in the middle now. He's dying, but he's gonna trade for Idra, which he's happy with. Although Wargreymon goes down as well on that Demon Hunter, and that is gonna be a 3 for 3.
Really cool fight back and forth for both teams. There are a few cool moments that we saw Faye immediately pop the Odin before anything really happened. Yeah. And then the kill secure onto Keylax was really cool. But we're seeing their Vala play being really interesting. They're not afraid to just use the Rain of Vengeance on one person. They're willing to make sure to, even if it just secures the 1 kill, they're willing to do that, which is really cool to see.
Blood for Blood and Rain of Vengeance both got popped on that Barbarian instantly, just dropping her out of the fight before she could even ultimate. So I thought that Wildfire was going to just win that fight, but the positioning ended up such that Faye and Idra could get perfect DPS uptime on that squishy backline, and now that leap, it's still up, like we said, so Bim's kind of getting caught out here. Will it be enough to catch him? Shrink Ray coming in on Faye. Looks like Bim's going to make it out. Yeah,
they have to be really careful not to overextend right now. We do see that Odin is still on cooldown, so really don't want to chase and go for a for a kill on just one person. Tychus is really the backbone of this composition right now. If Tychus gets sniped early, like we've seen in multiple team fights, it just goes nowhere for Snowflake.
Absolutely, and now this puts them in a really bad position because Wildfire has level 20 and Snowflake still doesn't have 20, because even though that fight went even and they get a little bit ahead because of the level advantage that Wildfire had, they get more experience on the trading end, but it's going to be a tough fight for them. 20-19, they really want to engage this. Wargreymon out in the back line, gets casted, but he vaults backwards and boom with a nice shadow charge to save his friend. So they're still trying to force this engage. Pickles gets cleansed out of that stun, and then we see a huge shock and come across and a huge Rain of Vengeance onto 3 people, followed up by the Uther stun, and the Dark Archon take the fight away. That is going to be a very convincing team fight win for Team Wildfire.
Wildfire, they took the top fort. Unfortunately, that was just 3 back-to-back good heroics from Wildfire. We saw the Shockana hit 3 people. We saw the follow-up Rain of Visions hit 3 people, and then the Uther Stun hit 3 people. I mean, they just took out those 3 members so fast. And now, with no one being able to res soon, we have 34 seconds on Tyrael. That's it. I mean, this should be it. Wildfire should be able to push and win this right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that fight just shows the power of having all those AoE stun ultimates stacked on top of each other against a team that's trying to chase into you. I mean, that composition with Tyrael Barbarian, it needs to engage into your team, and when you can't do that because the enemy team has all these AoE stuns denying your engagement, what are you going to do?
This was just... the main thing I took from this game, this was a really rough comp for the Rainer, especially with the Rain of Vengeance put in. Rainer is good. I think he's very good in certain comps, but with the comp that Snowflake was running. I don't know how I personally feel about it. You have two hard engages with the Tyrael Barbarian, and then the Raynor just has to like slowly waddle up. He doesn't have any really big, gap closers, and you would see him just be kind of like chasing a lot of the fights. Also, this match is kind of bad for Raynor in general too. It's just not the greatest for Raynor. I mean, he's a good hero overall, but Wildfire played very well. I mean, their ultimates or the heroic synergy was really solid. They played very well. Both teams did well, but
yeah. I mean, that early game Snowflake looked good, but once those ultimates came in, you're absolutely right. Wildfire just started dominating those team fights, and Snowflake couldn't get back in it.